Tonight, we invite you to gently drift into a world of ancient myths and soothing tales with the story of the gentle quest of Cadmus, the founder of Thebes. In this serene odyssey, Cadmus sets out to rescue his beloved sister Europa. Along the way, he encounters trials, unearths hidden strengths, and ultimately fulfills a destiny that births the storied city of Thebes. As you rest and relax, let the waves of this timeless journey wash over you. And now, let the tale unfold. In a realm where myths unfurled their quiet elegance under the skies of ancient Phoenicia, a gentle yet determined tale was set in motion. Europa, the beloved sister of Cadmus and daughter of King Agenor, meandered through the meadows, drawn by a bovine figure with a divine presence. This was no ordinary creature. It was Zeus, the king of gods, transformed into a majestic bull. Enchanted by its grace, Europa succumbed to curiosity and climbed onto the bull's broad back. With a powerful surge, the bull leapt across the waves, borne by the will of the mighty Zeus, spiriting Europa away to lands unknown and setting Cadmus on a path of destiny. Distressed by the sudden vanishing of Europa, King Agenor summoned Cadmus, his most resolute son, and imparted upon him a single profound task: to venture forth and find his sister, and in his sister, journey to restore the missing piece of their family's heart. It was a command wrapped in the fabric of duty and wrapped tighter with the strings of love. Cadmus, with a steadfast spirit and unwavering heart, set forth on his quest with the early rays of dawn reflecting in his eyes. He was driven not just by his father's command, but by the deep affection he harbored for Europa, whose laughter and kindness had been ever present in his life. As the overcast sky stretched ahead, promising the gentle embrace of a new beginning, Cadmus knew his journey would be unlike any other, pulling him across the ancient lands of myth and destiny. Through valleys and over hills, across bustling city-states and tranquil pastoral countrysides, Cadmus's footsteps became a serenade of dedication and resolve. In each realm, he cast his gaze far and wide, searching for any sign of Europa or the traces of the divine bull that had stolen her away. Yet the lands were vast, and the clues were scarce, shrouded in the whispers of myth and distant echoes of demigods at play. His travels brought him to the courts of local kings, men of wisdom and mirth, who welcomed Cadmus with gracious hospitality as was custom in those ancestral days. They offered tales of wonder and sightings that cradled the edges of disbelief, recounting how the northern skies had held shapes unfathomable, and how the sea was a canvas for the fleeting forms of gods. These stories, while fantastical, fueled Cadmus's resolve, urging him ever forward in the quiet of his quest. Every night, beneath the tapestry of stars and celestial currents, Cadmus paused to commune with the divine. Inwardly, he begged for guidance from the pantheon above, hoping for signs or omens, a glittering thread to lead him through the labyrinth of his quest. The gods, in their timeless serenity, did not quite answer his pleas, but left him instead with a lingering calmness, an assurance that his journey was preordained and his discoveries would unfold in time. As days turned into weeks, the path of Cadmus became etched in determination, every step a brush on the canvas of fate, every dawn a gentle reminder of his purpose. The vast landscape stretched before him like an eternal painting, with distant mountains shadowed by the lingering silver light of an overcast sky. Yet, in those gray horizons lay hope, a hope that his journey, though arduous, was not just a search for Europa, but a pilgrimage toward his own destiny. Despite the serenity of his voyage, Cadmus felt an awakening of possibilities and the echoes of yet undeclared prophecies guiding him. He journeyed with a heart bruised by longing yet buoyed by hope, a traveler destined to find more than he set out to search. And so, with the horizon unfurling ahead, Cadmus continued, with each sunrise guiding him closer to unforeseen futures and unfolding destinies toward the Delphic oracle's sacred words. As the soft hues of dawn gave way to a mist-blanketed morning, Cadmus found himself at the sacred site of Delphi. Ancient whispers seemed to float among the ethereal vapors, imbuing the air with a mystical ambience. The scent of early spring mingled with the cold, damp mist, wrapping the valley in an uneasy calm that belied the profound revelations it held. Cadmus, now weary from his relentless travels in search of Europa, felt a compelling pull toward the Temple of Apollo, a beacon of divine counsel nestled amidst the rugged landscape. Upon entering the temple, Cadmus was enveloped by an imposing silence, broken only by the faint rustle of the Delphic oracle preparing to receive him. The chamber, dimly lit yet breathtaking in its divine simplicity, echoed with the weight of the questions asked and answered through generations. The oracle herself appeared almost otherworldly, as if she existed between the realms of mere mortals and the voiceless gods who whispered secrets to her. The oracle spoke in a voice that was steady and melodic, laced with enigmas and ancient mysteries. Her words, though confounding, matched the tranquility of her surroundings. She foretold not of how Cadmus would find Europa, but of a different fate. "Follow the cow," she intoned cryptically, "and where she rests, you shall build a city." Her prophecy subtly shifted the course of Cadmus's quest, suggesting that it was not Europa he was destined to find, but instead the foundations of Thebes. Despite the puzzles spun by her words, Cadmus felt a strange clarity, a burgeoning sense that the sister he sought might be intertwined with a destiny he did not yet fully understand. Though puzzled, he chose to trust the oracle's guidance, comprehending that the path to fulfilling one's destiny often wove through unexplored corridors. With this newfound understanding weighing heavily in his heart, Cadmus departed from the temple, imbued with a resolve as soft as the fading mist. As he made his way back through the winding paths of Delphi, Cadmus encountered villagers who recounted tales of other prophecies foretold by the enigmatic oracle. They spoke of fates sealed by divine declarations, of journeys veered onto unforeseen paths because of whispered counsel delivered within those ancient walls. Each recounting further cemented the sense that his journey, too, had been redirected by a divine hand, and that, indeed, this detour was destiny's true course. The villagers, with their tales spun like threads of a vast, unseen tapestry, added to the mystical atmosphere of this phase in Cadmus's journey. Their stories reverberated through Cadmus's thoughts, aligning with the oracle's prophecy. As much as he longed to reclaim his sister, Europa, a gentle understanding began to take root within him, an acceptance that sometimes the heart of one's quest may lead away from what was initially sought but towards what is ultimately meant to be. With the mist covering the land like a soft embrace, Cadmus contemplated the oracle's words and the villagers' stories. A serene sense of purpose formed as he realized the journey itself was as integral as its destination. Guided by the oracle's foresight, his path would soon diverge from the desperate search for Europa. Instead, he would follow the signs laid out before him by the gods, embarking on a new quest led by an unexpected guide, a cow. Thus, under the watchful gaze of the eternal mountains and the silent knowing nod of ancient deities, Cadmus prepared to leave Delphi, resolved to heed the prophecy. As dawn began to spill golden light across the misty land, he understood this place, where the mortal and divine met, would forever remain engraved in his journey. The mysterious guidance received here would shepherd him on to his next chapter, where signs from the divine coalesced onto the path he must tread. As his journey continued toward this profound calling, Cadmus was enveloped by a calm assurance, a trust in the unfolding of a fate as immutable as the spring sky above and as deep as the roots of Thebes. Mountains that cradled Delphi. This synergy of destiny and desire propelled him back onto the path, where the enigmatic oracle's words lingered like a melody, guiding him toward his destined legacy. As Cadmus left the misty precincts of Delphi, he moved steadily into the tranquil expanse of the Greek countryside, holding the oracle's enigmatic words close to his heart. The sky was draped in a light drizzle, the world around him wrapped in the delicate freshness of spring. It seemed as if the heavens themselves conspired to maintain a mood of gentle mystery. Here, among the grasslands studded with spring blossoms, Cadmus spotted the sacred cow, the promised guide from the oracle's prophecy. The cow stood with serene demeanor, a calm beacon in the midst of his uncertain journey, and thus began his chase through lands unknown, impelled by divine promise. His pursuit was marked by contemplation, as the cow charted a path through diverse terrains, guiding Cadmus across rolling hills and verdant fields. Each step of the journey unraveled new vistas, but the progression was deliberate, almost as if time itself slowed to a more leisurely pace. Cadmus embraced this extended traversal, viewing each moment as part of the larger destiny he had been tasked to fulfill. The cow, though moving leisurely, seemed to embody the weight of prophetic intent, traversing the earth with the silent authority of fate itself. Villagers encountered along the way looked upon Cadmus's chosen path with knowing nods. Tales of omens and divine animals revisited their everyday conversations, with the cow symbolizing an auspicious sign woven into their local lore. They shared whispers of past travelers and wondrous occurrences, wild stories tangled with truth that reinforced Cadmus's belief in the sacred guidance he pursued. For Cadmus, their voices were echoes of the gods, reassuring his inward resolve as he continued along the cow's gentle course. Yet, the human soul knows doubt, even when the heart resolves to follow divine signs. On his solitary journey, solitude coaxed moments of questioning from Cadmus' mind. He wondered if he was truly meant to follow this path, or if his quest might still lead him far from his sister Europa. In the midst of uncertainty, Cadmus recalled the oracle's prophetic strength and trusted that every step was paving his path to an unforeseen great endeavor. These internal conversations affirmed his spirit to endure, to honor the sacred mission entrusted to him. One day, as the landscape shifted from open meadows to a dense thicket of trees, Cadmus briefly lost sight of the cow. The path twisted and turned, enveloped in shadows cast by the towering foliage. Panic threatened to invade the calm that had guided him thus far. But then, almost miraculously, he caught a glimpse of the cow through the gaps in the thicket, basking in a shaft of sunlight, a vision that seemed to pulsate with the god's own confirmation. Reassured once more, Cadmus gathered his resolve, feeling the divine presence course anew through his veins. As Cadmus and the cow continued their journey, the terrain gradually evolved into a canvas painted with lush greenery and gentle streams, a serene counterpoint to his constant wander. He observed the world, and himself, changing with each passing day. The cow, a resolute figure heading toward an unseen goal, left behind trails of symbolic footprints in its wake. As he followed, Cadmus mused on these signs, harmonizing with the natural world that linked him to his dispersed family, to the oracle's vision, and to the courage sustaining him. The cow, undeterred by boundaries or the certainty of human roads, led Cadmus toward the vast realm intended by fate. Each scene unfolded with time's patient hand, ushering him through an experience that was as much a journey of the soul as it was of the body, a grounding field for ambition, reflection, and revelation. The rains ceased, replaced by a sun that peeked warmly from behind retreating clouds, as if encouraging him to persisting in this quest. Throughout this sacred passage, Cadmus felt history and myth intertwine with each step, sealing his place within the lineage of destiny. This was more than a trail through the ancient hills. It was a tangible thread through the tapestry of time, a whisper of tomorrow breathing softly into the present. Cadmus acknowledged this lesson learned through the slow pursuit, his eyes now drawn toward the horizon where destiny awaited with open arms. Cadmus followed the sacred cow with steadfast heart and purpose, moving gently along the winding paths of fate, urged by the prophecy he received at Delphi. As the day stretched into afternoon, the cow came to an unhurried pause in a serene meadow, nestled under an overcast spring sky. This was the destined land, as foretold by the oracle, where Cadmus would lay the foundation of a new beginning. Here, where the journey's end met a promising start, Cadmus understood the weight of this momentous task. Honoring the divine guidance and the sacred cow that had brought him here, Cadmus chose to perform a sacrifice. A respectful tribute to the gods for their continuous guidance through his odyssey. The ritual was ceremonial and solemn, underscoring his reverence for the powers that had led him thus far. This act was not merely a duty, but a sacred motion, binding his journey to a tapestry of divine will and human resolve that spanned eternity. Upon completing the sacrifice, Cadmus wandered nearby, seeking a stream to purify himself. His steps led him to the edge of a verdant grove, where he discovered a spring so pure and sacred it seemed to shimmer in the subdued light of the afternoon. Yet, as he approached, his senses sharpened. Something formidable lay in its vicinity. He was not alone. Guarding this sacred source was the fierce dragon of Ares, an ancient and formidable sentinel, its presence both terrible and magnificent. Facing this new trial, Cadmus stood resolute, his heart brimming with the courage of a hero. With determination etched into his being, he engaged in battle with the mighty dragon, the echoes of their clash reverberating through time. The struggle tested the limits of his valor just as the prophecy foretold. However, Cadmus, drawing on every fragment of strength and patience honed through his journey, ultimately overcame the fearsome guardian. In an act of ultimate triumph and relief, the dragon lay defeated, a testament to Cadmus's undaunted spirit. Emerging from this trial, Cadmus stood over the remains, catching his breath, the remnants of battle lying quietly around the sacred spring. In the hush that followed, the goddess Athena made her presence known. Her wisdom and benevolent gaze fell upon the weary hero, blessing him for his brave endeavor. Athena's guidance was clear and filled with the power to weave myth and reality. She bid Cadmus to sow the dragon's teeth into the fertile soil of the land. In this symbolic act, Cadmus saw the fusion of fate and fortune. The teeth were remnants of a beast, yet crowned with the potential for creation and renewal. With measured care, Cadmus scattered the teeth, each seed a promise of new beginnings springing from the ground. This wasn't merely an act of planting, but a gesture that tethered him to the earth, the precursor to the strength of Thebes, a city born from the ashes of struggle and the promise of destiny fulfilled. Thus, as the quiet settled over the land, and the sky turned to deeper shades of gray and blue, Cadmus felt in his bones the monumental nature of what had transpired. The land had accepted him, and he had honored it with the seeds of the past and the harbinger of a new future. There, in the solitude of that moment, he envisioned a city that was yet to rise, a beacon on earth under the eternal watch of the gods. In thoughtful reflection and reverent breath, Cadmus stood, seeing in the simple act of sowing a bridge between the realms of the mortal and the divine. With these actions, the prophecy's promise began to manifest, laying silently, yet surely the groundwork for Thebes and its storied future. The dragon's teeth lay hidden beneath the earth, their potential stirred by Cadmus's hand, promising life where once was silence. Cadmus watched the sky, feeling the whisper of a legacy beginning to unfold. This was both an end and a beginning, and marked the continuation of his quest. His heart, filled with hope for the emerging destiny from the seeds now sown, was ready for what was to come. As twilight descended upon the site destined to become Thebes, Cadmus stood at the threshold of a momentous event. The soil, enriched by the dragon's teeth he had sown, lay before him under a light drizzle, the earth seeming to pulse with a mysterious life waiting to be unveiled. Athena had guided him through the trial of courage, and now the fruits of that guidance were about to emerge from the ground. Cadmus watched with a blend of awe and anticipation, his breath steady in the cool evening air. Gently, at first, the earth began to tremble. From the soil, there rose figures clad in shimmering armor, armed and resolute in form. These were the Spartoi, warriors born of the dragon's teeth, as the myth foretold. Their armor gleamed silver against the darkened sky, a spectacle both awe-inspiring and enigmatic. The sight was one of raw power and mystifying beauty, encapsulating the paradox of creation from chaos. The air was thick with the tension of new life, uncontrolled and unteachable, yet full of potential. No sooner had they emerged than the Spartoi turned upon one another, as if driven by an insatiable instinct for dominance. The scene unfolded in a dramatic display of energy and ferocity, each warrior appearing to be locked in their own singular quest for superiority. Cadmus stood back, a witness to the turmoil that erupted seemingly from nowhere. The clang of weapons and the cries of battle filled the air, transforming the serene surroundings into a moment of swirling chaos. Here was a new genesis, a storm from a calm sea. Yet Cadmus did not forget Athena's words of guidance. Her counsel had been cryptic, yet filled with wisdom that now resonated in his mind. He realized he must intervene to quell this chaos before it consumed the entirety of his potential new allies. Reaching down, he grasped a stone from the earth. With careful aim, Cadmus cast the stone into their midst. The effect was immediate. As it clattered among them, confusion rippled through the Spartan ranks. The warriors halted, their focus drawn away from wariness toward one another to the unexpected source of the disturbance. Silence fell abruptly, a palpable shift from the tumult that had filled the plains moments before. In the ensuing calm, only 5 Spartoi remained standing. These 5, survivors of the confusion and battle, ceased their hostilities and became still, their intentions now unclear, but their raw power undeniable. Cadmus approached these remaining Spartoi cautiously, recognizing in them the essence of strong allies. Each now stared back at him, not as foes but as companions who could aid in the monumental task that lay ahead, laying the foundations of Thebes. Here was the beginning of an alliance forged from the earth and tempered by trial, a testament to the triumph of order over chaos. He welcomed them, knowing they were to be the building blocks on which the city's future rested. The night enfolded Thebes with a blanket of calm as Cadmus pondered the miraculous spectacle he had just witnessed. Destiny, it seemed, was woven with threads of unpredictability, only to be guided by the wisdom imparted by the divine. The emergence of the Spartoi was no random occurrence, but rather a part of the grand design, a weaving together of strands that formed the tapestry of his fate. The lesson taught by Athena reverberated through Cadmus's mind. Even from pandemonium, order could be shaped if one could interpret the signs and act wisely. And thus, with the spectral light of twilight giving way to the gentle glow of night, Cadmus prepared to move forward, the foundation laid with courage and insight. The land, now claimed and pacified, awaited its transformation under his and the Spartoi's stewardship. And so, the 5 Spartoi stood with Cadmus, envisioned as pillars upon which the structure of a great city would rise. They brought with them not just the skills of warriors but the fortitude needed to build, together transforming the landscape into the storied city of legend. These warriors, born of the legacy of a dragon, now faced a future filled with hope and potential under Cadmus' leadership. Tonight's journey concluded as twilight gave way to deeper night, the balance restored, a gentle promise of what was yet to come. Cadmus' journey had entered a new chapter, one imbued with the promise of prosperity and unity, hinting at the great city that was to rise from these beginnings. With the echoes of battle now a soft memory, Cadmus stood at the sacred site where his destiny began to unfurl. The site of Thebes, where the earth had yielded brave warriors from the teeth of a dragon, was now ready to transform into a hub of new beginnings. Yet, before laying the foundation of his nascent city, Cadmus yearned for divine approval, a blessing that would ensure harmony and goodwill among both gods and mortals for his future realm. Understanding this need, Cadmus turned to the heavens, seeking guidance and approval from those who dwelled above. The celestial deities, mindful of Cadmus's unwavering dedication and sacrifice, had already marked a path forward. In the serene tranquility that followed the battle, the gods themselves decreed a union for Cadmus that would not only bind him to divinity, but also to peace. His bride, Harmonia, was no ordinary woman. She was the daughter of Ares and Aphrodite, embodying both the strength of war and the grace of love, a perfect counterpart to Cadmus's enduring resolve and noble heart. The decree of the gods manifested in a grand wedding that was a feast for both the eyes and the soul. Guests from the divine pantheon gathered beneath a sky painted with hues of golden and pale blue as dusk settled gently over the land. It was a celebrated union where each element, from the gentle breeze to the vibrant blossoms, seemed to sing in harmony. Gods bestowed gifts upon the couple, the most stunning of which were a dress and a necklace for Harmonia, each crafted with ethereal beauty. The dress shimmered with hues of the morning dawn, and the necklace, crafted by Hephaestus, sparkled with celestial radiance, signifying the couple's blessed union. The wedding was not merely a celebration. It was a convergence of destiny, uniting mortal resolve with divine influence. As Cadmus and Harmonia exchanged vows, the presence of the gods affirmed the beginning of a reign characterized by balance and prosperity. Cadmus felt the weight of his duties lightened. In the eyes of the divine, his path was chosen well, and through Harmonia, peace would be planted in the very foundations of Thebes. The winds of change ushered in a new era for Cadmus. Harmonia, a figure of grace and serenity, effortlessly introduced stability to Cadmus's realm. Her mere presence was enough to inspire unity among the citizens, drawing them toward a shared vision of prosperity and harmony. Her influence was subtle, yet profound, like the gentle weaving of a tapestry that strengthened the entire fabric of life in Thebes. Cadmus marveled at how his dreams gracefully aligned with his new life. The city that he envisioned was taking form, not merely through the structures forged from stone and sweat, but in the hearts of those who inhabited it. Alongside the steadfast Spartoi, now noble families of Thebes, Cadmus laid the groundwork for a city that would be known as a pillar of Greek civilization. His reign, enhanced by Harmonia's gentle guidance, promised an era of peace and development. Her insights were invaluable, a wellspring of wisdom from which Cadmus often drew. In the shadow of their grand union, Cadmus could see the fruition of the Delphic oracle's prophecy. Thebes had begun to rise, shaped by both divine influence and the endless perseverance of its founder. The marriage had not only cemented Cadmus' lineage, but also affirmed the city's noble origins. As they moved forward, Cadmus and Harmonia walked hand in hand, reinforcing bonds both terrestrial and celestial. Thus, as the day of their wedding faded into a star-specked evening, a gentle tranquility settled over Thebes. The gods, having bestowed their blessings, watched serenely as their union took its rightful place in the tapestry of myth. This marriage, woven from the threads of destiny and divine favor, marked not just the continuation of Thebes' story, but also the fulfillment of a journey that had only just begun. As Cadmus and Harmonia oversaw the nascent city blooming under their guidance, each step seemed to whisper promises of what was to come. In the light of this divine union, Thebes would grow to cherish its founders, nurturing their legacy as the new king and queen initiated a reign of lasting impact. In the heart of Boeotia, Cadmus embarked on the monumental task of transforming the vast landscape into the thriving city of Thebes. As the newly appointed king, Cadmus was infused with divine inspiration, energized by the presence of his beloved Harmonia by his side. The remnants of the Spartoi, noble warriors birthed from the earth itself, pledged their loyalty to Cadmus, becoming the foundation of Thebes's noble families. These stout-hearted warriors, symbols of resilience and creation, were integral to Thebes, integral to Thebes's burgeoning strength, embodying the essence of the land's transformation. Cadmus began by laying the city's foundations, marking out the boundaries that would soon be bustling streets and vibrant neighborhoods. The construction called for cooperation, and artisans from surrounding lands brought their skills to bear on this ambitious venture. Guided by Cadmus's vision and Athena's past blessing, divine inspiration flowed through the creation process, carving Thebes into a symbol of prosperity and harmony. Stone by stone, palace by palace, a mighty city began to emerge from the hillside, its outline reflecting the determination and patient toil of its builders. Yet, the process was not without challenges. Persistent difficulties arose, testing Cadmus's wisdom and the unity of his newfound kingdom. The earth occasionally resisted, revealing its stubborn nature through sudden landslides or stubborn rock formations that blocked progress. Undeterred, Cadmus called upon the wisdom bestowed upon him by the gods and his unwavering patience, traits that saw him through trials past, to steady his resolve and direct his people on the path of perseverance. Guided by divine favor, the obstacles were overcome, each triumph serving as a testament to his leader's unfailing courage and relentless drive. With every challenge conquered, the city of Thebes took more solid form, its walls rising majestic against the azure sky. The centerpiece of Cadmus's dream lay in the construction of the city's 7 gates. These gateways were more than mere entryways. They symbolized strength and resilience, each one dedicated to the divine forces that had guided Cadmus's journey. As the gates neared completion, a palpable sense of accomplishment swept through Thebes, promising hope and prosperity on the horizon. The day arrived when Thebes stood fully realized, a testament to the harmonious blend of divine inspiration and human endeavor. Citizens from far and wide gathered to celebrate the new city's ascendancy, their hearts buoyed by the promise of a bright future. The noble families born from the Spartoi assumed roles of leadership and stewardship, their lineage woven into the very fabric of Thebes's foundation. Songs of Cadmus's leadership and the celestial blessings that guided him echoed amidst the celebration, honoring the mythic origins of their home. As the city thrived, its story began to intertwine with those of other kingdoms, creating alliances and fostering cultural exchanges. Thebes became a hub of trade and dialogue, a nucleus from which advancement and wisdom spread across the land. The people of Boeotia, now united under Cadmus's steadfast guidance, flourished, cultivating a society built upon the principles of strength, harmony, and divine favor. Thebes was no longer merely a destination. It became a symbol, an enduring legacy of Cadmus's quest fulfilled. The evolution of Thebes accentuated the city's legendary essence, a realization of prophecies uttered under misty skies at Delphi. Cadmus saw the dreams of a thoughtful journey made real, impacting generations that would follow. The tale of how one man's unwavering determination led to the creation of a thriving city offered quiet inspiration, a gentle reminder to all who listened of the profound effects of destiny embraced. With the wind cooling its streets and the whispers of ancient promises drifting through its halls, Thebes stood as a monument to mythic perseverance. As Cadmus looked upon his creation, he knew that the journey had not ended, but had transformed into a new odyssey, one grounded in leadership and the nurturing of legacy. With Harmonia by his side, crafting bonds of peace and prosperity, they prepared to lead Thebes into a new era of flourishing growth and collaboration. With the foundations of Thebes now firmly laid and the city bustling with newfound life, Cadmus found himself faced with the true test of his leadership. His wisdom would be vital as he navigated the intricacies of running a city burgeoning with potential yet fraught with challenges. The streets of Thebes echoed with the voices of its citizens, each carrying stories of their daily lives and concerns. Within the governance halls, murmurs of internal discord began to surface, testing the unity that Cadmus had painstakingly cultivated. The Thebans, though loyal, were not immune to disagreements and disputes. Minor conflicts among prominent families and the emerging nobility were growing and demanded Cadmus's direct intervention. The peace maintained by the harmonious inception of the city now threatened to unravel without careful mediation. Cadmus, with his steadfast demeanor and calm insight, tackled each arising issue by reminding his people of the shared purpose that had brought them together, the promise of a city created through awe, divine will, and human perseverance. Meanwhile, beyond the city walls, relations with neighboring kingdoms took on a more delicate nature. Diplomacy required Cadmus to balance firmness with openness, ensuring Thebes was seen both as a partner and a growing force. Envoys arrived with offers of trade, yet beneath these exchanges lay subtle tensions, as alliances often carried hidden agendas. Cadmus navigated these interactions with patience, using his presence and the reassuring weight of Thebes' divine favor to forge beneficial agreements while warding off the specters of aggression. Yet, nature itself seemed to conspire against Thebes' peace when a mysterious blight began to spread across the city's fertile lands. The blight resisted simple cures, causing concern and despair among the cultivators who had thrived on the earth's bounty. This new threat cast a shadow over the prosperity Cadmus had strived to secure. He called upon the seers within Thebes, respected for their wisdom and insight. These wise individuals delved into ancient texts and practiced sacred rituals under Cadmus's watchful eye, seeking answers from the gods to lift the looming curse. Amidst these trials, Cadmus never strayed from his sacred bond with the divine. Always aware of the gods' influence over mortal endeavors, he remained committed to following their will. In solemn vigil, he offered prayers, asking for their beneficent intervention to restore Thebes' balance. The gods, seeming to favor his earnest devotion, responded subtly. Ideas blossomed in Cadmus' mind, as if planted by divine whispers. These sudden insights provided the measures he needed to lead his city through crises, strengthening his rule. Guided by newfound clarity, Cadmus implemented decisions that slowly turned the tide. He encouraged innovations in agriculture that preserved and enriched their yield despite the blight. By engaging the community in these solutions, he nurtured a renewed spirit of cooperation, ensuring that each citizen felt part of Thebes' resurgence. His approach rekindled the trust of the Thebans who had once been uncertain, proving to them that their faith in his leadership was well placed. Step by step, Thebes returned to its trajectory of growth, with its citizens reinvigorated by the guidance of their king. They celebrated not only the restoration of their lands, but also the enduring strength of the unity fostered under Cadmus' watch. Surrounded by this renewed prosperity, the king of Thebes found himself ever more dedicated to the welfare of his city, his thoughts drifting now and then to the future, a future that promised yet more opportunities and challenges. And so, Cadmus's leadership continued to be a testament to resilience and wisdom, a guiding force through adversity. His trials were not merely tests of endurance, but lessons that deepened his understanding of kingship and the intricate dance between fate and free will. With a keen eye to the horizon of his own impact, Cadmus prepared for what lay ahead, fortified by the belief that every decision would ripple out to define Thebes and its people for generations. The city stood as a beacon of what could be achieved when human endeavor aligned with celestial guidance. In harmony with his trusted allies and under the watchful gaze of the divine, Cadmus was ready to face whatever trials the future might hold. As the afternoon sun cast a warm glow over the city, Cadmus gazed upon Thebes from his throne, thoughtfully pondering the path forward. There was wisdom yet to be gleaned from his experiences, wisdom that would continue to shape not only his leadership, but the legacy of the city he had built. With each new dawn, Cadmus promised himself to stand as a pillar of strength and wisdom for Thebes, ensuring its prosperity for eras to come. As the twilight hues softly enveloped Thebes, Cadmus found himself seated on a simple throne within his palace. The gentle night sky stretched endlessly through the grand windows, offering a glimpse of the myriad stars that twinkled above. In these late moments of his reign, Cadmus's thoughts turned inward, contemplating the journey his life had undertaken. He reflected on the trials, triumphs, and the legacy he hoped to bestow upon those who would follow him. Aging was a natural course, one that carried with it not the fear of the end, but the weight of lessons learned and given. Cadmus sensed an insistent whisper in the autumn breeze, signs from the gods hinting at his destiny's cyclical nature. The spectral winds carried divine portents, a gentle reminder of his inescapable fate and the greater cosmic dance he was a part of. In his heart, a serene acceptance blossomed, comforted by the realization that, just as Thebes had risen under his care, so too must the cycle of leadership continue. It was a poetic reflection of life, an eternal loop of renewal and passing. To secure Thebes's prosperity and future stability, Cadmus gathered his trusted advisors and successors. He imparted words of wisdom, drawn from the depths of his experiences and fortified by his unwavering dedication to the city. Cadmus spoke of unity, the importance of steadfastness in the face of adversity, and the value of seeking counsel from both mortal and divine. The successors listened intently, drinking in the wisdom of a leader who had navigated the complexities of destiny with grace and courage. In this transfer of knowledge, Cadmus fortified Thebes's foundations, instilling resilience into its core. As days turned into nights, the citizens of Thebes came together to honor Cadmus's invaluable contributions. There were no grand parades or elaborate ceremonies. Instead, quiet tributes echoed through the city. Murals and carvings depicting Cadmus's serene leadership adorned the halls of learning and thought. Children were told tales of his quest and the gentle heart that led a city to flourish. Thebes, a living testament to his enduring spirit, buzzed with whispers of gratitude. In private moments, Cadmus found solace in the unwavering presence of Harmonia, whose grace had been a constant source of strength. Harmonia's love had been a refuge, a guiding light through the uncertainties and trials of his reign. Her gentle wisdom complemented his own, creating a harmonious rule that resonated through Thebes. Together, they reflected on their journey, a manifold tapestry of struggle and fulfillment, woven with threads of divine influence, commitment, and mutual devotion. One evening, under the silvery glow of the full moon, Cadmus received a divine message. It was neither overwhelming nor foreboding, but rather a calm affirmation of what had long been hinted at, his transformation destiny. In this final revelation, the gods reaffirmed his place within the mythic traditions of their world. Cadmus understood that his role as a mortal ruler was inching towards completion, and that a new chapter awaited beyond what eyes could see. Thus, as he prepared to transition from the throne, Cadmus embraced this destinied transformation with a quiet but profound resolve. His heart bore neither fear nor regret, only an enduring curiosity and eagerness for the mysteries that lay ahead. He knew that, like the stars that graced the night sky above him, His story would continue to shine and guide those who traversed paths yet unseen. In this gentle contemplation, Cadmus found peace. As he gazed upon the firmament, the life he had lived resonated as a fulfilled odyssey, a foundation laid for the future of Thebes and its people. His legacy, interwoven with divine threads, would endure long after he had transformed to grace another form, another epoch. The gentle breeze carried on, a whisper of change and continuity. Cadmus closed his eyes, allowing the soothing night to cradle his thoughts and drift him toward the dawn of new mythic horizons. As the gentle mist rolled in from the Illyrian coast, Cadmus and Harmonia began their journey along a path whispered by the fates. Having ruled Thebes with wisdom and grace for years, their hearts now turned toward a quieter destiny. Together, they resolved to follow the beckoning call of transformation, a fate tied to an enigmatic prophecy that neither feared nor resisted. This path led them away from the city they built and loved, toward an unknown yet inevitable future. The oracle's ancient words echoed in their minds, painting a destiny in which they would no longer walk as mortals. Their footsteps carried the weight of that prophecy, a future where they would be transformed into serpents. In the eyes of many, such a metamorphosis might seem a curse, yet Cadmus and Harmonia saw it as a sublime merging with the eternal essence of existence. This acceptance of divine will was both serene and unwavering, as gentle as the autumn breeze unfurling over the misty landscape. Embracing their path, Cadmus and Harmonia found solace in each other's presence, the orientation of their hearts aligned with the stars guiding their way. The serene backdrop of the Illyrian shores provided a canvas for this part of their story, a place where earthly beauty merged with the eternal. Each step down the coastal path brought them closer to the transformation heralded by divine prophecy. It was here, amid the swirling mists and softly lapping waves, that the transformation began to unfurl. As dawn approached, a silvery light cast an ethereal glow over their figures. Cadmus felt the divine energy ripple through him, a sensation not unlike the gentle murmurings of the ocean. Harmonia, by his side, mirrored this sacred transition, her form grace personified as the divine embraced them both. The transformation was neither sudden nor alarming. It was a graceful revelation of their true forms, a return to an ancient, mystical state of being. With each passing moment, scales began to form upon their skin, harmonizing with the earthly emerald hues surrounding them. Their eyes took on a new, reflective light, deep and wise, probing the secrets of ages. The couple's bond remained an unbroken melody as they transformed, each a whisper in the other's heart, each note a testimony to their perpetual union. As serpents, they achieved a symbolic rebirth, an eternal dance woven into the fabric of time. Their fabled transformation echoed through the mists of time, becoming the legend passed from generation to generation. The tale of Cadmus and Harmonia as serpents symbolized more than just a change of form. It represented a cycle of renewal and resilience, honoring the weave and pull of destiny. It was said that as serpent forms, they continued to protect and guide, their legends providing solace and wisdom to those who listened. As the first light of dawn broke upon their new forms, it was evident that Cadmus and Harmonia's love had transcended the confines of their mortal existence. They had embraced their fate with courage and grace, becoming an enduring narrative within the endless cycle of myth. Wherever the tides of history carried humanity, their story imparted the timeless wisdom that true harmony prevails, even through transformation. With the gentle rustle of leaves blending with the rhythmic whispers of the sea, Cadmus and Harmonia faded into the mists, now part of the immortal landscape they would forever adorn. And thus their tale continued, carried onward by time's unyielding currents, a story of destiny, transformation, and eternal rebirth. The myth of Cadmus and Harmonia, The human founders of Thebes who yielded gracefully to their serpent fate remained as a symbol of divine and earthly harmony. Cadmus's journey had led him to fulfill a destiny greater than his initial quest to find Europa. The city of Thebes, which he founded, became a testament to his trials and triumphs. As the years passed, Thebes flourished as an enduring symbol of the mythic lineage Cadmus established. The grandeur of the city, with its elegant temples and statues, echoed the divine guidance and strength bestowed upon Cadmus and his loyal Spartoi. Each structure and landmark was a piece of Cadmus's vision, realized through unwavering determination and celestial favor. Thebes was not merely a city of stone and mortar, it was a living legend. Its vibrant streets and thriving marketplaces bore witness to a rich cultural heritage rooted deep in Cadmus's legacy. Even as new leaders emerged, the tales of Cadmus's courage and wisdom served as guiding inspirations. His life, marked by divine prophecies and relentless pursuit of destiny, offered lessons of resilience and hope that guided the rulers who succeeded him. The mythic authority of Cadmus became an archetype to emulate, shaping the governance and ethos of Thebes. The story of Cadmus and Harmonia, once mortals transformed into serpents, was etched into Theban lore, creating a tapestry where mortal actions intertwined with divine will. Their transformation was symbolic of rebirth, a cycle that perpetuated the foundation of harmony among the citizens. Through rituals, tales, and celebrations, the bond between mortal endeavor and divine homage persisted, enhancing Thebes' spiritual core. The city remained filled with an air of reverence, honoring the mythic lineage of its founders. Cadmus's legacy extended beyond architecture and governance. It permeated the cultural and spiritual fabric of Thebes. As festivals celebrated the union of mortal and divine lineages, citizens found themselves connected to an eternal narrative that allowed them to participate in a legendary cycle of renewal. Music, poetry, and storytelling celebrated Cadmus's vision, preserving the essence of his leadership and the beauty of his dream fulfilled. The inhabitants of Thebes were reminded of their roots, a legacy empowering them to forge a future rich in promise and potential. Cadmus's name became synonymous with the journey from trial to honor, from searching to founding, creating a blueprint for mythic heroes who sought purpose beyond mere accomplishment. The ethos that Cadmus instilled formed a guiding principle for generations, both within Thebes and beyond its gates. The interwoven stories of courage, fate, and transformation lingered in the hearts of those who called Thebes home, perpetuating a sense of destiny achieved and sustained through learning and toils. Embracing change. As Thebes thrived, it was revered as Cadmus's ultimate creation, a beacon of mythic resonance that stood the test of time, juxtaposing both human aspiration and divine destiny. The city's monuments reflect the values and vision of its founder, whose journey from a brother seeking his lost sister evolved into the establishment of a dynasty. Cadmus's mythic archetype guided Thebes into an age of prosperity, reinforcing its place as a cornerstone of Greek mythology and a testament to a legacy unyielding in its eternal wisdom. In the serene expanse of Thebes' vibrant cityscape, the resonant whispers of ancient tales could be heard, stories of Cadmus's courage, the trials he overcame, and the city he built from prophecy. Through art and storytelling, Thebes paid homage to its founder, who ventured beyond personal ambition to manifest a divine promise. And as the lineage of leaders continued to look toward Cadmus' tales for inspiration, Thebes remained an unbreakable bastion of mythic heritage, forever linked to the divine and mortal realm. With the city continuing to prosper under the stars, people gathered within its walls, united by shared history and mythic inheritance. Celebrations of renewal and growth spoke of a future nurtured by Cadmus' timeless influence. As the legacy of Cadmus endured, Thebes flourished in honor and resilience, a commemoration of what was achieved through divine guidance and unwavering resolve. Under a vast and starry sky, the story of Cadmus, the stalwart founder of Thebes, reached its harmonious conclusion. In the soft embrace of the night, the constellations seemed to whisper of his legendary odyssey, echoing the eternal cycle that heroes of divine fate must traverse. It is a journey marked by prophecy, resilient trials, and ultimately, serene fulfillment. As Cadmus's tale was retold, listeners found themselves reflecting on the immense tapestry of destiny that wove together the adventures, victories, and eternal legacies left behind by heroes such as himself. Central to Cadmus's story was the theme of divine fate. From the moment he embarked on his quest to rescue Europa, an unseen force seemed to guide his every step, leading him not to his sister, but to the monumental founding of Thebes. The listeners recounted the twists of fate that saw Cadmus confronting a fierce dragon, planting its teeth into the fertile ground, and witnessing the miraculous emergence of the Spartoi. Each event, like a carefully placed stone, formed the foundation of a narrative that underscored destiny's inexorable hand. The essence of prophecy shimmered throughout Cadmus' journey. The Delphic oracle's riddling words, "Follow the cow," had set him on an unexpected path, revealing a truth about oft cryptic prophecies. They manifest through unexpected avenues. The sacred cow, the dragon, and the emergence of warriors from the earth were all foretold only in symbols and signs, but became the pillars upon which Thebes stood. It was these elements of prophecy that imbued Cadmus' story with an air of divine orchestration, weaving a tale of ultimate peace after a cycle of grand endeavors. Yet, it was not merely the moments of prophecy and challenge that defined Cadmus. It was the peace that followed. After long trials and the eventual founding of Thebes, a sense of tranquility enveloped his narrative. Here was a hero who exemplified how courage and wisdom could steer a city-state into prosperity. Thebes thrived on the ancient foundations Cadmus had laid, embodying the zenith of his life's work and fulfilling the prophecy not only by his hand, but also through the reverent and enduring legacy he left behind. In his quietude, Cadmus became a figure of inspiration, not just for his own time, but for generations to follow. Leaders in Thebes and beyond looked to Cadmus's story as a guiding beacon, a narrative blueprint steeped in valor, where every challenge was met with a calm and assured courage. It was a testament to how the divine purpose could be embraced with the grace of acceptance, demonstrating that the resolutions to our quests often come in forms we might least expect. As listeners pondered this story, the idea of new beginnings, born from the culmination of Cadmus' gentle quest, took root in their hearts. His story was a reminder that journeys might start with an uncertain step, yet under the watchful stars, they find their destined endpoint. Through Cadmus' passage, a profound truth revealed itself, suggesting that fulfillment comes not from the answers we seek, but from the wisdom gained along the way. Cadmus's gentle journey unraveled the hidden beauty in embracing one's destiny. His tale became a gentle reminder that though life's trials might be inevitable, each step along the path contributes to a legacy that outlasts the sands of time. In the mythic realms under the soothing starlight, stories like these whisper from the heavens, echoing the gentle fulfillment found in purposeful quests. Thus, the tale of Cadmus ended not with a clamor but a soft resonance, a harmony that lingered on the lips of those who heard it, echoing through the ages. These myths, like constellations above, offer guidance, ever persistent in marking the sky with lessons eternal, ensuring that though a chapter might close, its story continues ever onward.